Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the first of our video blog series with Joe Rushton. I just can't tell you how excited I am, just how lucky we are here at the CHEK Institute to have Joe on for this series. Our goal in this monthly series is to pick one really important topic, one current topic. Today's topic, for example, will be Juicing 101, and really dig into it. Dive into the crucial facts of the matter and maybe debunk a few myths along the way. And all in 20 minutes or less. So we're going to do some great work and we're going to do it really efficiently and quickly. And this is great. We're lucky to have Joe because for so many reasons, but if you don't know, you really should know her because she is just amazing. Just to give you a quick introduction, Jo is a faculty member here at the CHEK Institute, but she's also the author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Rocket Fuel on a Budget. It's one of my favorite books. I love the recipes in it, and I'm lucky I'm not well overweight for having eaten all of it. Jo is the founder of the Energy Coaching Institute. She's a celebrity, internationally qualified chef who focuses on high-performance nutrition, energy, and is an exercise and weight loss specialist. And on top of all that, Jo is a leading expert featured on a digital TV show on holistic well-being called Healthy Me TV. And this is really great. Her work is so synergistic with our work because all of Jo's interviews, books, and products are with the purpose of keeping you healthy by design. And that's part of our mission too here at the CHEK Institute. So excited to have you here, Jo. Welcome.
Thank you, James. I'm always so happy to be here chatting with you. I find it so much fun. So
yes, and today's topic is just, I think it's a brilliant topic. We're going to talk today about Juicing 101, and it's crazy how many people are into juicing now. Juicing is absolutely everywhere. There's documentaries about it. I think I just watched one not too long ago called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I think it's done by an Australian fellow.
Okay.
And all he did was juice. He cut out everything and all he did was juice. And this is, I know, right? That's the same reaction that I had. And I think a lot of people though have this idea that juicing is sort of a cure-all. And that you can just juice fast. And so I'm so excited because I know you're going to bring some common sense to this topic. So
I think, yes, a bit of balance would be good.
Yes, I agree. So, so juicing is trending, and that's great. It's going to be wonderful to talk about it. And there's just lots of reasons. Maybe you can talk just generally, give us, what is juicing for people who don't know about it? Kind of what are the ins and outs? Why might you do it? That sort of thing.
Sure. Okay. So, as you said, juicing's become, very popular, and juicing is a method in which we are able to extract and condense nutrients from fruits and vegetables, and that's most commonly they're the two foods that are used in juicing. Mm-hmm. And I guess the question around is it right for everybody?
Yeah.
I think is, when we look at juicing specifically in terms of what it actually does, and, it cleanses the blood, the lymph, and the intracellular fluids, okay? And it also neutralizes toxins, which is probably the biggest thing that people would associate juicing with, is the gift it has of cleansing and also neutralizing toxins. But it also repairs the integrity of the tissue. Okay. And, can give us energy boost and increase our sense of alertness. And I guess, how is it doing this? Well, because we're taking in a very concentrated form of minerals, vitamins, trace minerals, enzymes, phytochemicals, carotenoids, bioflavonoids. These are all what we call almost like the the keys that unlock nutrition in the body. So in order for us to actually utilize the benefits of fat, protein, and carbohydrates, we need all of these elements that I've just mentioned to actually utilize and maximize the use of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. So they're almost like the key that unlock the nutritional potential held in the macronutrients of the food that we eat. So, when you look at juicing from that perspective, then already you can kind of go, well, who isn't going to benefit from that?
Yeah.
So, juicing when it's done smartly, intelligently, can benefit, I think, everybody.
Sure.
And I think what people need to get clearer about really is asking the question of what is their intention? What are they trying? What are their objectives of juicing? And I think that this is where perhaps mainstream people who, or mainstream health and wellness advice out there that talks about juicing and smoothies and using them as meal replacements or using them as ways of fasting and cleansing without really the knowledge of how to do that and being very clear as to why you're wanting to take that approach and what the key objectives are, then I think that you can certainly find yourself doing more damage than good to your hormonal system, to your metabolic processes in the body, and what actually regulates your energy, your weight, and your blood sugar. And I'd like to talk a little bit more, about that, if that's okay.
Yes,
because
please.
I just, from clients that come to me and, they often say, can I do a juice fast?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, okay, this is interesting. Why are you wanting to do a juice fast? Most of the time it's, well, it might kickstart a bit more weight loss. So already they're thinking that, they're thinking more around weight loss than they are around the actual cleansing benefits. And how, it cleanses the blood and the lymphatic and intracellular fluids, which is, part of what helps the body to detoxify itself and therefore stimulate weight loss. But when somebody's key objective is simply weight loss, I believe that they've got the wrong mindset to begin with in order to actually use juicing and have it benefit them long lasting without too many detrimental effects along the way.
Sure.
One of the biggest things I see time and time again is people suffering from fainting, from extreme low blood sugar levels, all of a sudden crashing.
Yes, just going to ask about that. I imagine blood sugar levels must go, zip up and down.
Up and down, like a yo-yo, unless they have done some really good foundational work, first of all, to balance their endocrine system or their hormonal system. So I don't actually introduce juicing as a therapy whereby all you're using is juicing. Until I have really qualified that the individual has stabilized their blood sugar levels, has stabilized their hormonal balance, has stabilized their metabolic system, and that they are what I call at a level of a high constitution of health where they are controlling all the systems of their body. And that, for most people, that takes quite some time. Living the principles that, Paul teaches, the 6 foundational principles, in order to bring the body back into that place of homeostasis. Then, of course, we are always going to have situations such as chronic disease, bowel cancer, various forms of illnesses that you would look at using juicing as a therapy and therefore juicing as a fasting for a period of time. But again, that is done very methodically with some very specific guidelines and additional tools that you're using to stabilize blood sugars along the way. And there are some specific things that we're doing to ensure that levels of fiber don't go down too far, that we're not we're not decreasing the levels of protein and fat that the body needs to support the healing process, which are often forgotten when we go ahead and do these juicing fasts. And then you've got I think that, the danger zone is that people who aren't as educated as what they could be around juicing, they get into fruit juicing. And, that's where you're taking in massive amounts of sugar. And the body, two things there, James. Number one, and I know I laugh because, Australia isn't too far behind America when it comes to the whole size me up philosophy.
Right. Yeah.
And so you go to a juice bar and it's kind of, small kind of starts there, medium there, large there. And before you know it, you could be walking away with, 700-800 mils of juice. Now, when you look at how much raw material that's going to take to create that amount of juice, well, there's just no way in nature that we would be consuming that amount of carrot, kilo of carrots in one sitting to get, X amount of mils of juice from. And the same goes for, fruit especially. And so one of the key takeaway tips right now is I highly recommend people never do a pure fruit juice by itself. Unless, again, there are therapeutic uses for pure orange juice, freshly squeezed. But, there are times and places for that. And there are other protocols that are happening in and around that therapy that is stabilizing the blood sugar levels as a consequence to taking in that fresh juice. So, the other thing that I really want to preface here, because again, I think that it gets overlooked time and time again, is, here we are going, okay, I'm going to have a juice boost, and I'm going to boost my levels of vitamins and minerals and trace minerals and all these cofactors and flavonoids and everything. And we forget that, the quality of all of these elements really are dependent on the quality of the plant, which is dependent on the quality of the soil that it comes from. So, how much real raw nutrition and condensed nutrition are we getting if it's coming from commercially farmed plants that, don't have the same levels of nutritional density of the vitamins and the minerals and all the cofactors that we've spoken about. But secondly, sorry, I've got a fly coming across my face. Secondly, we then have to burden our bodies with excess pesticides or herbicides or any, agricultural farming chemicals that might have been used in the harvesting of those crops. So, it's counterproductive in my eyes. Here you are using juicing to try to neutralize toxins and help the body rid the body of toxins. But then if you're taking in a raw material that, comes in with various agricultural toxins, then you're really not, it's counterproductive.
And in fact, it might be worse to drink the juice than actually to eat the raw vegetable, right? Because when you juice, I'm guessing you must concentrate those toxins as well. So it's like drinking the refined version of that, right?
So you have that, and you also have the again, something that is forgotten, and this is why juicing unintelligently can really throw off your blood sugar levels, because when you're taking in such a pure form of nutrients in that way, you are extracting the fiber and you're extracting other components of what would have been in that whole food, whether it was an orange or a carrot or an apple or a pear, that actually helps the body to process, to absorb, digest, and assimilate And that's, part of the big problem when we talk about supplements, just as, as an example, we extrapolate vitamin A or we extrapolate vitamin C. And we're consuming it in a synthetic form, but the body really doesn't know what to do with it in a synthetic form. And so the body goes scrounging for the other elements that would have otherwise come with that orange when you have it as a whole piece of fruit. And so, now we're actually asking the body to work twice as hard because it has to go searching for other nutritional elements that actually helps it to process that particular food or juice in this case. So I would say, recapping there, I'd say that we've covered the importance that juicing should never be done alone as a fruit juice.
Right.
Okay, that's, I think, for beginners especially, looking to try out juicing. First and foremostly, it should always be as an accompaniment to an already balanced diet. So that when you're first starting out juicing, you're getting the benefits of the juicing in addition to the work you've done to balance your diet. Okay. Right. Obviously, this is outside of therapeutic protocols where there's specific diseases that one is treating. And the references that I give for that sort of thing would be Bernard Jensen and the juicing therapy. And also, obviously, Max Gerson, or his daughter, who I think she's like 92 now, who has followed that whole Gerson therapy, Charlotte Gerson. And so they're the kind of people that I would just reference if you're looking to use juicing as a more of a therapeutic for specific ailments, illnesses. But outside of that, I think number one is always to mix your juices, to do a combination of fruit and vegetable. Or you can certainly do vegetable by itself, but certainly not juice by itself. Okay. And I think, another one up there is qualify the quality of the raw material that's coming in.
Right.
Okay. And remember that these days, I know this is really sad to say, but even these days, just because it's organic doesn't mean that it comes from a rich soil. Organics these days are, they come across a whole spectrum. And you can have one organic farm up the road, which, if you took a soil sample and had, rich profiles of vitamins and minerals, etc., in the soil. And you can be, 8 kilometers the other way, organic farm, and a very different, less vibrant profile. So really qualifying the quality of the raw material that you use first and foremostly is most important. Okay.
And so if we can find, I think biodynamic, right, is the...
That would be creme de la creme.
That would be creme de la creme. So if you can find biodynamically grown vegetables, that's where you'd want to go.
Yep, that would certainly be the first preference. And then, organic would be your second, and then your third. Again, when we go to the farmers markets, we're not always buying certified organic. When you go to the farmers markets, you have the ability to, ask the farmer directly. And quite often there are farmers out there farming, sometimes even biodynamically, and they're not registered. And you certainly have farmers out there that are farming organically. And because of the cost of the certification, they just choose to, live by and farm by the principles, but not with the big price tag of paying for that. And you can, speak to farmers directly and make choices in accordance to that.
And I like that you emphasize that juicing is always done in conjunction with a balanced diet, because there's a very popular commercial vegetable drink here in the United States. I don't know if it's made it down your way, but they always emphasize it has 2 full servings of vegetables, right? For those of you who don't like to eat vegetables, right? And that as though, this could be a substitute for eating, greens and, whatever vegetables you want to have. It's a substitute. And that's equally problematic, right?
Absolutely, James. And that comes back to missing out really on the fiber component that you would get when you're actually eating the whole vegetable, whether it's, kale as an example, or, any of the leafy greens. Broccoli these days, is used for in juicing, but has a fabulous, fibrous component to it that the bowel needs in order for it to sweep and clean the bowel. So the soluble and soluble, or should I say digestible and indigestible fibers that come across the variety of vegetables that are out there, we miss out on those soluble and insoluble fibers the moment we start juicing. So, however, I don't know if you've probably noticed, in the last few years, they brought in a new technology called slow juicing.
Oh, yeah. I have at home, it's called a masticating juicer.
Yes.
And so it will, Yep. Looks like a big corkscrew.
Yep. So, that I haven't experimented with one of those yet, so I'm only going off what I've read. But apparently those types of juices, because of how they expel the juice, they maintain not just a higher level of all the vitamins, minerals, etc., but also it helps to hold on to some of those fibers that are otherwise lost in the old style of juicing. And then, of course, there's the good old, I think they call it the NutriBullet.
Yes, my dad has one. I confess.
And so, does he love it?
Yeah. He, we're experimenting with different recipes. He likes his sweet a lot, so we're trying to balance, as you said, balance.
So, the NutriBullet, I think, is that great in between where you actually hold on to everything.
Yes.
And, so you're not losing the fibers, nothing is extrapolated, and there's not a pulp that's left over. You're actually blending everything. And I think that, if we were to go down the road of really discussing what is the best extrapolation process in order to get the highest, most densest liquid form of food, then I would say, the NutriBullet would be there. Now, I probably, the only thing that goes on in the back of my mind, and I'm sure there's probably some research out there that would either clarify it or perhaps, put me at ease about it. And that is the NutriBullet, in my mind, it goes so incredibly fast.
It does.
I just wonder whether or not there's, with that, does there possibly come a damaging of nutrients at some level? And I, as I said, I don't have the research to substantiate that. That's just kind of a feeling I get, when we overbeat an egg, at too much of a higher speed, we can damage the yolk and the fatty acids of the yolk. And I just wonder, could that be the same with the NutriBullet? But it's just and
the process of homogenization, right, with dairy products, also same sort of effect.
Exactly, and it's that high speed, and how that might change things on a sort of molecular level would just be would be an interesting thing. So I might have to do a bit more research on that and come back to you.
We can do a juicing 102 or 201.
Exactly.
So that's really great. I think that answers a lot of the fundamentals of juicing, because as you said, it's a very current and trendy topic. And yes, I have friends who have always wanted to do a juice fast, or friends who do it as a replacement. And so I think that really helps sort of dispel some of the myths and issues around the topic.
Awesome. So, do you want to know one of the key secrets behind juicing that I think
I would love to?
One of the key things that I think is overlooked, and I confess I only learned this a couple of years ago myself, and it's around what one needs to add into your juice in order for you to actually get the benefits of the antioxidants that we're looking to convert from the carotenoids that we take in. Okay, and people often
Yeah.
forget that carotenoids aren't just in carrots, they're in all green leafy veg, they're in anything with chlorophyll. Okay, so, that's pretty much the entire, vegetable world of green, green vegetables. But there's one of the key things we have to remember here is that these carotenoids, which essentially hold the antioxidant potential within them, that the body makes use of to help, neutralize toxins and also, combat against toxins. Our body actually can't utilize these carotenoids without the presence of fat.
Ah, okay. I was going to ask you about that.
So it's a really interesting piece of the puzzle when you come to juicing. So you can do, a lovely kale juice or, cucumber and celery and kale and, a pear and have that, beautiful blend of green, cleansing juice with all, the energy boosting that you're looking for and the antioxidants that you're looking for. But then you are going to miss out on all of that because there's no fat in the juice. So, one of the key things there is, okay, lots of people might go, well, so what do I do? What butter in my juice or something? And there's some really easy ways around that. So that might be that you put a tablespoon of coconut oil into your juice, or you might use some chia seeds, which, have a really great balance of omega-3 and omega-6. You might blend up some nuts, some almonds, and you might, stir in a tablespoon of, blended up fresh nuts. So, even these days, I'm quite into, I love my smoothies.
Yeah.
And, avocado blended in with, whatever the vegetable is or the combination of the vegetable, the fruit, and blending some avocado through that is, again, another great way of just putting in a little bit of that fat that your body needs in order to make use of all the effort that you've gone to.
Yeah. And I bet it gives a really nice creamy texture, too.
It does. It does.
I'm getting hungry. Well, that sounds wonderful. And I was considering, my father has that magic bullet and adding something like some coconut milk or something like that to it as well, for that very reason.
Yep, perfect. Another great way. We're fighting with flies here at the moment.
I see. Yes. Well, a sweet topic. So you're
that's it. Attracting them all.
Yeah, and would that also, we talked earlier in the discussion about these blood sugar spikes. Now, I imagine adding a little bit of fat to the juice also helps even out those blood sugar spikes.
Exactly right, James. That's exactly what it does. So it really helps to slow down the sugar release or absorption of the sugars. And, another great thing that you can use is cinnamon as well. Little sprinkle of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cinnamon into the juice. That's another very natural way of self-regulating the blood sugar.
Yeah. Great. Oh, well, that was so good. And I'm glad that you shared that secret because, I have juiced. I have a juicer, as I said. I have a masticating juicer. But I particularly have noticed, even if I'm eating regularly and I'm having my juice, say, in between meals, it really does ramp up my, the blood sugar. I can feel it. It rockets up. And then there is always, the yin to the yang, right?
That's it.
A fall. And so I hadn't considered adding the fat, but that's a really fantastic tip.
Well, do that and see what changes you feel. And see if that helps to regulate and just kind of taper down that release. So you'll get that energy boost, but you'll have it smoothed out and lasting a little bit longer.
I'm going to do it.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Well, thank you for doing this, Joe. And I understand you're giving our viewers today a little something special, a little something sweet. You have a free healthy smoothie recipe ebook. And we're going to put the link below where people can go to your site and grab these recipes. And I can't tell our viewers enough about how much I love the recipes in Rocket Fuel on a Budget. There's so many good things in there that I know they're going to love the smoothie recipe ebook too.
It's one of my favorites. I love the fact that my clients, will either text me or, just give me a call and let me know what they thought of, any of the recipes. And most of the time it's great positive feedback. And other times it's, sometimes, Joe, I'm, prefer something a little different, and that's perfect. We're all individuals.
Yes, we certainly are. Well, and I can tell you, in Rocket Fuel on a Budget, your recipe for duck, the braised duck with figs, honey, and vinegar. I know we need to have variety, but I could eat that every night.
It's one of my favorites too. It is one of my favorites. Love that one.
Yes. So. Well, thank you. I think we're a little over our target 20 minutes, but that's all right. This was great information. Thank you so much for doing this, Joe. I know our viewers will get a great deal out of this, and hopefully this will help them to juice more intelligently, more healthily.
I hope so too. Thank you so much, James. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, and we'll do this again next month. Our next topic will be, this one is going to be great too, overcoming chronic fatigue with nutrition. You won't want to miss this one. It's going to be fantastic.
Cool.
Thanks, Joe.
See you soon. You're welcome.
Yes.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.